Last round. Fight.
Hello and welcome to the Last Round podcast. I'm your host, Dan Saunders. Joining me as always, my co-host, Anton Austin. We're at Four Corners in Liverpool for our special guest. He's had over 80 professional wins, 5 times world champion. It's on him, buddy, Andy Howson. How you doing, mate?
I do, mate. You're right.
Good, thank you.
Good.
The thing I wanted to ask you first is, obviously you're a coach now. Like a lot of these kids will look up to you now as that kind of their role model. When you were starting out in the early 2000s, who were some of the fighters that you looked up to?
Damien Trainor, weirdly. I've said it a few times in the past, especially when we first fought the first couple of times. First thing I said was, "In fucking hell, mate, thanks for fighting me." Like, he's one of the first people I watched when I were UK based. Anyway, he's one of the first people I sort of saw fight, and I was like, "Shit, I'd love to be as good as him one day." And then I was lucky enough to fight him and beat him 3 times. And I was like, "Shit." So yeah, Damien was definitely one. I was like. There was a few, like Fash Fadowski as well, like Oldham boys, Fash, Lee Chesters, De Paolo. There were guys who were still coming up around the same time as us, but a little bit older than us. Like we used to train a lot with like Christian and Lee Chesters and that, and we'd seen them obviously fighting at international level and stuff like that. So following them guys, Master Channers guys again, we all sort of came on the Matthew Johnson. We all sort of came on the same shows together. But they were already fighting A classes, like me and Liam were just getting onto like C class sort of scene. But then again, same way Liam and Matthew. Liam went on to then fight Matthew and beat Matthew and stuff like that.
Madness.
So yeah, it's mad. Yeah, I think Liam fought Matthew when we were about 17, 18.
Was it 18 when you first started training?
17, 18, yeah.
So compared to the kids these days, it's quite late, isn't it?
I started late, I started really late. I was, I played rugby before. I did a little bit of boxing. I did judo for a few years. Then I was playing semi-pro rugby. Right. And I got to like a half-decent level playing rugby. And I played rugby for about 4 or 5 years. I only started Thai because I got a hernia injury. I got a double hernia. Played rugby, I kicked in bollocks in scrum. I got a double hernia. So I had an operation. Sat in the house being a fat bastard for about a year. And then was like, I need to do something. I'd not done anything from school. I just went straight to working at Tesco part-time just to get a bit of money after all that. And one of the lads I was working with there, a guy called Des Claxton, just went, "Oh, do you want to come to a show? Come watch some fights?" We had a guy called Clint fighting for Bad Company. Okay. So we went along with him, watched that, was like, "Fucking hell, it's sick this." And then next week I went to train. I think I'll have been 17, just over 17. I went to start training with him then. Did a couple of sessions and just sort of fell in love with it then. That was it then. I was there. I've been there ever since. And I think Liam came... I convinced Liam to come a couple of months after, maybe 3 or 4 months after. He came to 1 or 2 and then had a bit of time off, but then he came like solid after that with me.
He used to play football, didn't he?
Liam was playing high level, quite high level football. He had like people come and watch him from like Leeds, York, stuff like that. So yeah, he had a lot of people coming to watch him. He played for Leeds City Boys at the time. So yeah, people coming to watch him, like scouts coming to watch him. Yeah. And
Leeds were good back then, weren't they? They still are good now, but back then, in them days.
Is over, guys.
Mark Viduka and all them guys, remember?
Viduka.
Yeah.
Tony Yeboah.
Kuhl was quality. Yeah.
How much has the Thai scene changed since those days? Obviously now it's like a more popular. So, but do you think the quality's got better, or do you think it's still?
This is going to cause a bit of controversy, this.
Yeah, it is quite a difficult question because everyone always says different stuff.
The quality is, in terms of like how I see people have improved, is massive. Like the juniors now to when we started, it's fucking ridiculous. Like we've got some amazing juniors. The young guys all coming through the ranks are all brilliant. They're all amazing. Obviously, like you got to think Dan McGowan's one of them guys that have come from the junior ranks from back then. Up to building up to fighting A class when he was like 14. But at the same time, I don't think the new era of fighters that are coming through have the same mentality as us old school guys. Yeah. There's guys that are pulling out for no reason now, like they broke a fucking fingernail and that and just pulling out. And I've cut casts off my leg to fight and broke my hand and cut casts off my hands and stuff like that. It's stupid and I wouldn't ever tell anyone to do it now. But I think the mentality of fighters now, look, how many shows when I first started, you never heard of pull-outs. You'd literally be like, "Oh, this is the show, that's the card," and it very rarely changed. Yeah. Now there's
like, I think like the grit and the will of the fighters these days, they're a little bit softer, or
Possibly, but I think there's just a lot of it. There's a lot of sort of Instagram fighters
Yeah,
out in
yeah,
there.
yeah,
They want to
yeah.
look good,
Yeah.
but don't actually want to go get involved.
Yeah.
So I watched your last fight on Raw, and it was fucking sick.
Yeah.
It were a
Yeah.
mental fight. You both got dropped. You both
Yeah.
got up. You both got cut. That's a fighter.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? And I see
That's the
people,
fight. So me personally, I lost that. You want to look back in years' time and think that was a
yeah,
big
but it don't
tear
matter
up.
that you lost.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. As long as
Yeah.
you got up and had a row, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like a lot of my fights, I've stopped.
Yeah.
I've gone out on my shield and
Proper
got stopped.
tear-ups, yeah.
Whereas I could have just probably been careful
Yeah.
and lost on points. Yeah, I lost, but I'd rather get stopped or get knocked out, but go out trying to fight. And I don't think many people do that now.
I think it's good that it's you seeing that on camera now to a lot of the fighters out there.
The level's amazing. Like,
yeah.
there's no discredit, and obviously the people I'm talking about will know who they are when I'm saying the level's really fucking good. And there is obviously a bunch of fighters out there that are like true fighters.
Yeah.
But there's also a bunch of guys out there that have probably had 10, 15 fights and just can't be arsed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's people getting a bit softer or they expect more because there's so much more available to you. There was no such thing as nutrition or S&C and shit like that when we were fighting.
Yeah.
Like, I remember fighting Reece Crook. The second time I fought Reece Crook,
Right.
we weighed in together and went to McDonald's together and sat and had Mackies with each other. And we sat talking and laughing and joking
Yeah.
and went and knocked absolute fuck out of each other for 5 rounds. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's like that now.
I was going to ask you this later, but do you think there's a level of cherry picking fights? Because I've heard of like even at the junior level, like gyms pulling out because they don't want to fight another kid's gym, or they put like a 7-year-old against an 11-year-old.
Yeah, I've heard of it, and obviously I've seen it. I don't know particular people that do it, but yeah, there's definitely people out there that'll be like, oh well, I'm not fighting him because I don't think. Do you know what I mean? There's definitely that's happened for years though.
Yeah.
That's just one of them things in the fight sport industry in general, isn't it?
It happens in boxing
It
as well,
happens in
doesn't it?
everything. Yeah. Boxing shit now, innit? It's
Yeah.
kind of just there's
Yeah.
a few good. There's a handful of good fighters now. But it happens in like MMA, fucking
Yeah.
every sport now. There's people that don't want to take a chance.
Definitely.
Going back to you then, so I wanted to talk about one of your rivalries that you had. You mentioned it there. You had a rival with Damien Trainor. You managed to win 3 of the 4 fights. How do you think you were able to like get the edge on him? Is it because you studied him all those years? Like,
Nah, I didn't study him at all. I
No.
didn't study him whatsoever. After the first fight, I've never studied anyone I fought. Like say back when we started fighting, especially
There wasn't no
25,
footage,
26 years ago, there was no fucking
true,
YouTube
Yeah.
and videos to watch
I think that
fighters.
plays a massive part though, because you can almost
I
get in
think-
your own head watching.
I think it does.
Yeah.
Like I've said this before, like it's good for some things. Like obviously, so going back to sort of gyms in general, I've been around the game so long. I know gyms have a certain style. You can
Yeah.
say, "Oh, you're fighting so and so." I'm okay,
Yeah.
sound. They don't clinch or they don't like clinching.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
fighting them, all right. The good low kickers, they're the good boxers. They don't like this. Do you know what I mean? Whereas from just knowing gyms from around the scene to just watching individuals on YouTube, no one fights the same twice. Not really.
Yeah.
You can't just watch a fight and go, well, he don't block low kicks there. Because, yeah, he might not there, but then he does in his next fight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I've done it myself. I did it with one of Gracie's fights. We watched, when she fought for a world title, was like, oh, we watched a couple of these girls' fights. Fucking Amy Perney blasted a leg off in 2 rounds. Sam would go low kicker. First round, through 4 low kicks, block.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't sort of...
Yeah.
You hope that people learn lessons from it. So you can't just watch a video and go,
Yeah.
they're going to do that. Some people you can, because some people just never change.
Yeah.
But as a rule, YouTube's a great thing, and it's also a big pile of shit at the same time. Like, there'll be a lot of kids that sit and watch videos of people training, brilliant, and they'll pick things up and they'll try it, and that's great.
Yeah.
But there'll be people that go and watch it and watch their opponents constantly going on about their opponents. I'm like, it don't matter. Like, I remember my first probably 10, 15 fights for Richard. We'd go in the gym and he'd be like, oh, Liam Andy fighting next Saturday. And we'd go, sound who against? And all we'd get back is, don't matter, he's not from our gym. And that were it.
Yeah.
All you got told were where you're fighting and the weight, and that was it. And it's different.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's a different thing now.
Top
But
mentality.
everyone did that then. Everyone were doing the same. No one cared. Like, you knew people from the scene anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, when I got matched against Damien, obviously I know Damien, so I didn't need to know anything about him. I know who he is.
Yeah.
And, like, the first 2 rounds, I remember the first 2 rounds, I were a bit sort of shell-shocked, and I let him open up on me.
Yeah.
I came back in round 2 and Richard gave me a slap and said, what are you fucking doing? Put it on him now. You're giving him way too much respect.
Yeah.
Go put it on him. And I went out, put it on him. I dropped him with a right hand, and he didn't come out for round 4. And that was that. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Was that a big confidence boost at that time?
Oh, massive, yeah. Then obviously we rematched a year to the day. We rematched and Damien won on points. A close fight. I didn't think I'd nicked it at the time. I thought I'd lost at the time.
Yeah.
He came in very strong. He'd gone to Thailand, trained a lot in Thailand for the fight. And he was eager to win. Like, I know he wanted to win. Because after I beat him, a lot of people wrote him off, and I remember it being on. Remember fucking Axe?
Axe,
I remember
heard of that.
Yeah,
the
it was
forum,
just full of shit on it. I remember people just like slaughtering him on there, saying, "Oh, Damien's done now, blah blah blah, a new breed." And I know he wanted to come back and like prove a point, and he did. He won. It was a close fight, but Damien won. That's fair. No problem. But after that, and I went back and looked. I was watching it. I was like, he can't fight on the back foot. I know he can't fight on the back foot. If I put it on him, I know he don't like it. And not an insult to like the gym or anything, but I knew, like, I'm watching, I was like, K-Star can't block left kick. And if you actually watch the fight, so I just left kicked him all over the place. Right. It was more like my left leg that sort of won the fight, do you know what I mean? And I just had it in my head like, don't go back, fuck it. I'll play first 2 rounds and then 3, 4, 5, up the pace and just go at him, go at him and go at him. And it worked. He couldn't fight on the back foot then, and I just sort of took 3, 4, 5.
Was he a big demand to see that fight at that time? After
massive,
it was one of each. Yeah.
Every fight, because every fight were sort of, everyone was like, oh, it's fight of the year, fight of the year, fight of the year. We sort of fuck out of each other. It were an entertaining fights, exciting fights, and it's all. Every time we fought, it's being classed as like the biggest UK sort of.
It's hard to get them fights these days, isn't it? Like where you want to
really see that much of it. I think the last one were probably Liam and Charlie Peters, maybe.
Yeah.
Where that was sort of going on, where it's like the biggest domestic fight. Because obviously Charlie was coming up, Liam's obviously been around and done it all for years, and he's getting a bit older. So obviously I think like when you're getting a bit older, well, people love you, but they also like, ooh, who's gonna beat him now? It's like Sanchai now.
Yeah. So I'm dying to see him lose.
Someone is going to beat Sanchai, and it's probably going to be someone shit from Portugal or something on Thai
spinning
fight.
back fist.
That's had about 6. But that's why he's fighting on Thai fight all the time. It's like, no offense to the guys he's fighting, but they're all a lot younger than him. He's 41 now, Sanchai, 41, 42 maybe. It's only a couple of years, maybe a year younger than me. But the guys he's fighting aren't that great. But eventually, his age and everything's going to catch up to him, and someone's going to beat him, and they're going to get Sanchai's name on the record. And really, they don't deserve it. Do you know what I mean? So, but you always get to that stage in your career. You get to that level where you're getting on a bit. You've had a lot of fights. Your body's fucked, and it just gets to a point where someone's going to beat you, and someone's going to take your name, and it's shit. But it's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's part and parcel of the sport.
Talking about another domestic rivalry, like you had a rivalry with Dean James. I don't have to go into it too much.
Here he goes.
No, but I was gonna ask, do you think like fighting these kind of domestic fights brings out the best in you? Like, is it more pressure fighting a domestic guy than like a foreign guy?
With Damien, 100% it brought out the best in me, because I looked up to him a lot when I first fought him, especially the first couple of fights. It was like I really thought highly of him. We kind of had a bit of beef after that because I moved to Birmingham. It's a long story, but we had a big fallout. And then last fight, I was like, "Fuck this! I want to fucking cave him in here. I want to finish it," and that was done. We were still mates after it, but it kind of like dwindled off. Then the Dean thing's different because me and Dean we were good mates. He used to come to Leeds and train with me and stay at my house and that. Me and Dean were good friends. He'd ask me questions about fighting, and we'd talk all the time and like. Email then we're emailing each other, but we talk all the time about fights and what were coming up and like, oh, I'll come support you and blah blah blah. And when we got matched up the first time for the Emmy and Arena show,
the Skens show, was it?
Yeah, Skens, MSA show. That first fight, I didn't want to fight him. Right. I said to Rich, I was like, I don't want to fight Dean. He's one of my fucking best mates at the minute, and obviously everyone knows the story about his stomach cancer and all the rest of it. I was like, I don't want to fight him. I know he's not meant to fight. He got told by the doctors, you can't do contact sports. I don't want to fucking be responsible for all that. So it was a bit different. It was hard to kind of get up for the fight. But then at the same time, I got offered a fight with, I got offered a fight in LA the following weekend against Romeo Danza for a world title. And I accepted it. I was like, fuck this, I'll fight Dean, then I'll go fight Romy. And I did. I fought Dean, lost on points. It was quite close, to be fair, the first fight. Probably last round in it. Going into the last round, I thought I was behind anyway.
Yeah.
But Richard said, "Oh no, look, you need something big last round," sort of thing. And I just went out boxing him, and he's a great technician, Dean. He's got good timing and good accuracy, and he was just timing good long knees. As I was trying to take his head off, he was just banging a few knees in, and Dean won the fight. The rematch with Dean. So Dean's I never knew all this until after when we spoke about it.
Right.
Dean thought I were a knobhead after that fight.
Right.
Because I made him lose weight. Because he came in 1.5 kilos over, and I was like, well, sauna's there, mate. Crack on. It's for number 1 spot. You got to be on weight.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, he'd gone and saunaed and didn't lose much weight. And I said, oh, look, go do another 10 minutes, and then whatever you come at is fine. But because I made him sauna, he was like, prick.
Yeah.
And apparently that's what that was. The rematch, when we fought at the Leeds Town Hall, I didn't take it seriously at all. I didn't even train for it. Like, if you speak to Liam, I literally went out on the Wednesday night of the fight being on Saturday. I went out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I turned up to Wayne pissed.
Flipping it.
And I was throwing up all over the stairs on the way down. I was fucking steaming. And then I got in ring and fought next day and got cut to fuck.
Yeah.
I were absolutely fucked. But I didn't want to do it.
Is that what it was? Yeah, is that the reason?
It wasn't nothing to do with Dean.
Right.
I was working a full-time job for the first time in my life.
Right.
And I had company car, company phone, and fucking, I run really good money for the first time in my life. I'd moved into a flat in fucking Leeds City Centre with my best mate.
Right.
And I was just out every night.
Not a good idea in the city
It was
centre,
stupid,
is it?
wasn't it? I was just out pissed every night. I was sponsored by a bar. My boss had a bar that I was sponsored by. So I was
Smashed
drinking literally, I was just out smashed every night. I was just, we'd go for food, we'd get in from work. She'll go what should I have for dinner? I can't be arsed cooking. We'll go to Thai Edge.
Yeah.
Go to a Thai restaurant, have a couple of singers, then go to the bar. Well, literally every night.
Yeah.
For a year. So I just had no desire to fight. I think I had 3 fights that year. And lost 3. It's the only time I've ever lost 3 fights.
Right.
Ever. So yeah, it wasn't a good year.
Yeah.
But that was it. Like I came to the gym one day and Richard went, "Oh, you're fighting Dean on the town hall, defending your world title." I went, "I'm fucking not." He went, "You are. I've already agreed it." I was like, "Oh, fuck's sake." I think I trained for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And even then, like I said, the last week I just went and got pissed. So yeah, it just wasn't good. But yeah, you can tell by the difference in the first fight and how I look to the second fight. I'm just a fat cunt.
Yeah.
I just literally sat in a sauna to cut weight.
Did you cut much weight to make that weight category? Was it super featherweight, was it?
55 the fights with Dean were. Yeah.
Yeah, cut a lot.
I used to cut from 70 to 55.
Yeah,
68, 70 to 55. Pretty much regular when I first started. That was all my fights. Up until probably getting to about 30 years old. Yeah. When I realised that it's just not good for you and I started learning about nutrition a bit. And from then on, I could make... That's why I moved down. I started fighting at 52 and a half, 53 then. Right. Because I could do it easier.
Flipping it. Big cut though, isn't it? From 70 to 68.
Stupid, mate. It's like I used to...
I heard rumours you were massive. Like,
I was big at the weight then, yeah. I used to cut from... Well, if you look at... Like, there's pictures of me when I fought Damien in the last fight. I got in the ring at 67.5. I weighed in 55. I just went like... But I cut 7 kilos the night before. I was fucked going to Birmingham. Like, Davey Mack took me to Birmingham. I couldn't even sit on the seat. I was curled up in the footwell car, shivering and crying, acting like a bitch. But that's the difference. So, like, back then, like, yes, I cut a lot of weight, but at the same time, I'd cut 6-7 kilos maybe the night before, maybe even a kilo or 2 on the morning. Yeah. But then I'd weigh in. I wouldn't eat. I'd weigh in and drink and drink and drink, and I'd just drink. I'd do like 6 litres of water before I had proper food. Yeah. Because obviously you know what it's like yourself. As soon as you've weighed in, you have a drink and you're like, and you start trying to eat. Yeah. And you bloat yourself.
Yeah, it's the best way to be honest. Get the fluid.
Just get the fluid, and it kind of opens your stomach up, and then you can eat properly, can't you? And I never did that for about 40 fights. Right. I just gorged myself and was like, oh, I can't eat now, full. Yeah. But then as soon as I started learning, I can't remember who told me. It was an MMA fighter actually. Right. I can't remember who it was that told me it. I started doing that, and then I started just your muscles are water out. So I literally just go like that, bump. Yeah. And I put weight on quite easy then. So like the Damien fight, I think I fought him at Legends in Croydon. That was the 3rd fight. that and the last fight, I was fucking big compared to him.
Yeah.
Especially the last one. The last one was stupid. But the difference is I got off the scales and drank 6 litres of water.
Yeah.
And then I'd like chicken, rice, and had proper good meals.
Yeah.
Damien got off at scales, and the weigh-in was at K-Star. And I remember him getting off at scales, going to the fridge and getting a bottle of Lucasade and had a packet of Monster Munch crisps. And I'm like, I'm going to be fucking big tomorrow, mate. Like, you need more than that inside
We've had a few, haven't we? Talking about eating chocolate bars after weigh-ins when they didn't know.
Your body, innit, really?
That's the thing. Like, I tell all my guys now, I've met all people. Don't fucking. This is what we were saying to Joe. Like you were on about before we started about Craven fucking making weight. Me and Liam, obviously, Liam, Jordan, Richard, we've all done it badger. We've all made all these stupid mistakes for the last 20 odd years. And we're all out to him every fight. Don't fucking do it. And he still does it.
Yeah.
He's better now, to be fair. At the minute, he was meant to fight in January. I don't know what's going on with it now. I think it's off. But he's in good nick and he's trained hard and he's fucking, his weight's all right. So hopefully, the big-headed cunts realise he can't do it. And hopefully he changes now. But it's like, you'll see it all the time. People make stupid mistakes. But like you say, it's like his experience. The more you've done it, the more you know how your body works as well. And you know what you can get away with and stuff like that.
Especially combining you guys, the amount of fights you have had, flipping heck, it must be some.
Yeah, exactly. Like between me, Liam, and Jordan Smith, I had about 400 or 500 fights.
Yeah, flipping
about 400 fights between us 5, I think.
Yeah.
Jordan must have had 100 fights.
When you're like UK #1, you're a world champion. Like, where does the motivation come from?
Every fight we're getting bigger. So like, when I won the UK #1 spot the first time, obviously I rematched Damien a year to the day, and he beat me. So straight away my motivation was, fuck that, I want that back.
Yeah.
And it took me 3 years nearly to get the rematch again. He wouldn't fight me.
Right, okay.
I don't know if it were a case of obviously we'd fought back to back twice and he wanted a bit of a break and go off and do his own thing. Fair enough. But I wanted it. So that was my #1 spot. That was motivation. Winning the world title, I got more opportunities to go fight abroad and fight bigger names, and ended up fighting sort of good ties or like top guys from Malaysia, things like that. So it's just more, I ended up travelling about a bit more, getting to travel the world, getting paid for it, and just bigger fights.
Yeah.
The more you win, the bigger you get, the more you get offered, sort of thing. And same with Dean, like the Dean fight, obviously after the first, I wasn't asked about a rematch at first. I got a new job and went off and did that. But then as soon as I got back into the swing of things, like I wanted Dean again, but we'd already gone separate paths. And it was just one of them. So yeah, it were, do I go fight Dean again or do I move down to 53.5, which is more my weight? Because I'm big for the weight. Dean's fucking enormous. When he could make 50, he's huge, man. When he could make 55, 56, he's a big boy. So it was like, fucking hell, like, all of a sudden now nutrition is a part of it and people are learning stuff.
Yeah.
These guys are getting big at 55.
Yeah.
And I'm still what I was. So I moved out 52.5 and 53.5. And then I felt like I was the bigger one again. Yeah. So it was just education and moving around, but the motivation comes from obviously getting offers. I moved down to 53.5, had a couple of wins and got off a WBC shot. So I'm buzzing, of course I do. I was 35 years old when I won WBC world title. So
that was in Liverpool, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Smash.
Olympia, me and Liam together. Again, that as well, like stuff like
I was actually at that show as well. That was one of the first ever shows I watched, it. Yeah.
So I've just done a PT with Charlotte Derbyshire then, and we were on about something. And she went, oh yeah, I was there. I was like, fucking hell, you'll have been about 12. She's like, yeah, I was 14. I was like, fucking hell, it's mad. But yeah, the stuff like that as well. Like, obviously me and Liam, we're cousins, but we're like brothers. We've done it together for so long that even stuff like that, like, I think Liam put something up over there that us two left hooks and not fighting on shows together, be a bit shit. But we've got good memories from it. We won the WMC titles together. Yeah. In the Bolton Arena, we won WBC titles together and stuff. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that is better than anything else to me.
Definitely.
Memories in it.
Definitely.
So obviously, there's a lot of pressure on a fighter, like just anyway. But coming from a gym like Bad Company, like, was that added pressure to kind of like succeed?
It wasn't then because Badco was just kind of making its name for itself. Obviously, we had. When me and Liam first started, the main fighters there was Richard himself, Lisa, and there was another lad, Steve Rutherford. They were the main three guys, Pitbull.
Was Rich Cadden a bit later?
Cadden was around about the same time as us. Maybe a couple of months before, but he'd only had a couple of fights. I think he'd come from Cowloy. I'm not sure. He came from a gym in York. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, Cadden was there, but he was kind of making his way up alongside us. We all fought on the same shows together. But then all of a sudden it came to, we started having loads of success, and me and Liam were getting UK, like Liam got UK #1 spot when he was 17.
Mad, innit?
At one point, at one time, I was #1 at 55, Pitbull was #1 at 57, Liam was #1 at 59. Then obviously Jordan came through the adult rankings, and Jordan got to UK #1. So we just we were dominating the rankings at one point with us four guys. That's the reputation of Bad Companies kind of come from that. Yeah. So when we first started, there weren't really any there were not to live up to. Yeah. There were guys doing well, and Pitbull was fighting regularly. He was British champion. He was UK #1 and that. But it wasn't like, oh, we've got 3 world champions, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this. It was just, the gym was still kind of building. So there wasn't as much pressure then. It's more now. Right. I guess the guys that are coming up now, it's more like, oh, fucking hell, it's Bad Company gym. Yeah. Yeah. And I think, do you know what, like with Lewis and that, a lot of they try too hard sometimes because of it. Yeah. I think they're all like, well, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And you don't need to. You've got your own path, haven't you? Everyone's got their own sort of path. You can't you can emulate people, and I want to be like them, and I want to try and achieve that. But do it your way. Don't just fucking try and copy. Just get on with it, train, and it'll come. If it's going to come, it'll come. If it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen.
Did you always have aspirations to become a world champion?
Nah, I've never asked.
When did that realization come, when you thought, I can actually do this? I can... what age? Or
I've worked a full-time job, or pretty much full-time job all the way through my fight career. I think I just fought my first Thai. I beat Damien the first time, and then I fought a Thai called Kantipong about 3 months later on a show in Birmingham, on Paul Hennessy's show, and I had a 5-round war with him, just stupid elbow fight. It was only about my 3rd or 4th fight with elbows, and I just there's like 58 elbows in round 4, so we just elbowed fuck out of each other, and it was amazing. I loved it. I got out of the ring and I was like, I've got no injuries here. I've never had this before. Fighting a Thai, it was different. Yeah. And I got out of the ring and sort of, like, shit, I've got to go to work tomorrow. Fuck's sake. And then I sort of sat there, and I won Fight of the Year. That fight won Fight of the Year. And I just sort of sat back and went, do you know what? Why am I going to work? Fuck that. Can't I make a living out of this? Yeah. I wasn't getting paid very well though. Like the wages then were shit. Right. Especially for lower weight. I was only getting 500-600 quid a fight. Right. Nothing. But I spoke to my parents and said, look, I really want to do this. And to be fair, my parents have supported me all the way through it and said, look, if you want to do it, give it a go and see what happens. And they just let me crack on. Yeah. So they've helped me and sort of helped me out a lot with stuff, buying me cars and random shit like that. Like, if it hadn't been for my parents, I wouldn't be able to do it. No chance. But so I just, that was the first time I quit my job. Yeah. And I wasn't even doing PTs. I literally just trained and fought full time. So I wasn't holding pads. I had all pads for Liam and stuff. Or like in a class we'd do it. But other than that, I wasn't doing PTs. I would just solely wake up, go train, go home, sleep, wake up, go. Yeah, that was it. So yeah, it was good. But then again, like that's why I ended up taking a job again. So much further down the line. I got to a stage where I was like, I think I was 30 last time I fought. I got 29, 30. And I was like, fucking, I've got nothing to show from my fights. Other than a few belts and a few trophies, I've got nothing to show from it apart from injuries. I need some money behind me. It was different. Like I say, it was different then. There is money to be made now, and fighters are getting paid better. Obviously doing PTs and stuff like that, earning more of a living. There weren't really many people like back then. There weren't really many people doing one-to-ones. Right. Like, Richard didn't do any. He did like maybe 1 or 2 a week. You know what I mean? It was just different. Now there seems to be a lot more call for it. I think everyone's a lot more into the fitness anyway.
How did gym survive then? Just purely off memberships, just paying for your sessions and that's it.
Yeah, but it's not. It's never been. It wasn't really a full-time gym. Richard has his own business anyway as well. Okay. So it was only we'd train in the morning. He's always done he did a morning session with fighters, but then it was literally a morning session at 10.
Go to work,
and then it was shut.
Right.
So that was it. The gym was shut then until 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock when kids' classes started and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, a bit different. And now it's open all day. Now you got to talk. There's me, Liam, Joe, Jordan when he's back, Liam sometimes. We've just started boxing as well. We've got Darryl Kendall in there doing boxing, so
Busy.
we'll have amateur fighters out boxing as well. So
Great.
it's different now. But yeah, back then it just want the same.
Yeah.
Want me doing that? So I had to work a job. I had to pay for my car. I had to pay for training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But well, even then again, as soon as I started fighting, I was lucky Richard let us train for free.
Was there anything like sponsorships back then? Any
Nah,
sort
mate.
of sponsorships?
Nah.
No, nothing.
I think I had one sponsor. At one point, I got sponsored by Virgin Active Gym,
Right.
and I had Virgin across my shorts. And I thought, not for me, this.
That'd be a big sponsor this day and age.
Now it'd be a
Yeah.
6 sponsor. It was good then. They'd only just opened.
Right.
One of my mates works there. I just got free membership, so it's not massive.
Yeah.
But I had to have Virgin plastered across my ass and cock, so it wasn't that good.
It's not like now with Joe Craven. He's got about 40 sponsors.
I mean,
hasn't
he's
he?
sponsored by fucking all
Smashing
sorts,
it, innit?
innit?
So at what year did kind of the purses go up for you to where it was like more sustainable and stuff to just fight 3-4 times a year?
Or how many fights in? Do you know, like...
A lot. I think I didn't get paid. I think my first world title, I'd have had 50 odd fights.
Yeah.
I think it was 2007. I'd have had 50 odd, maybe even 65. I'm not even sure.
Was that the fight when you thought, yeah, I'm getting paid decent now? It's gone.
No, because I didn't get paid decent. I got 400 quid.
It
It was on our show though, so we
Right.
always used to fight a little bit cheaper. But in Leeds, it sounds like I'd sell like 150 tickets, so it's not too bad. I've always taken a decent crowd anyway, so I've always made money back on my tickets.
Yeah.
Because I kind of had the reputation of being a bit of a dickhead and exciting to watch.
Yeah.
So like whether you like me or you don't like me, you come and watch me fight because you
Yeah,
either wanted to
terrible.
watch me knock someone out
Yeah.
or you wanted to watch me get knocked out. But either way, you bought a ticket.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think about 2007, 2008, 2006. I think maybe 6 or 7. I had a big year where I had like 10 fights in a year,
Right.
so I made decent money anyway. When I Power of Scotland tournament, beat current Lumpini champion and stuff like that.
Sick.
I had a really good year, and then Percy started getting a bit better.
Yeah.
Obviously, Masters kind of the MSA show, they were paying decent money. Then shows just started getting a bit bigger. And I don't know, there was just like a little change in the tide and people started getting paid more. And then obviously, like all of a sudden now, wages are ridiculous now. There's like kids that have had 4 or 5 fights and they're getting more money than I was getting when I had 60 odd fights. You know what I mean? It's mad. But it's good. It's good for the guys coming up now because it's nice to see that there is money in the sport and hopefully you can like try and make a career out of it as long as you do it right and do it the right way, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously now there's kind of like only the select few who have like top end who are making livings like Liam Haggerty, Nolan, that's the way about it really. Yeah.
Even then, I was with Liam and Haggett the other day. I mean, yeah, they've got sponsors that'll do bits for them, but they're still doing PTs.
Yeah.
Like they're still working in the gym. They're still doing one-to-ones.
Right.
It's, you know what I mean? We've all still got to do something to make a living. So
Yeah.
I wanted to address like going into one. First of all, how did it come about, and like what was the whole experience like fighting in one?
So
Plus, you was one of the first, as I remember, fighting in MMA gloves, weren't you, in Muay Thai? Was it in? Was it John Wayne Parr show? Did you?
I was the first thing. I think I was the first English guy to do it.
Yeah, because I didn't know anyone fighting.
No,
but I remember you as.
I did it in 2014 on John Wayne Parr's. I fought on CMT. I've known Wayne for years. We go quite a way back. He fought on the same show as Liam in Jamaica in like 2009. I think it was 2009. Then the following year, I fought on Muay Thai in America with his wife Angie. We fought on the same show and Wayne was there. Wayne cornered me then. Then obviously he's been in England. I cornered him here on MTGP. Like I've stayed at his house a few times. He stayed at mine. I brought him to England like 3 times. His daughter's fought on 2 of my shows.
Yeah.
So I'm good, mate. Like they're like a second family now, Wayne and Angie and them guys. But yeah, they asked me to fight. Liam was meant to be on the card as well.
Okay.
But unfortunately his opponent pulled out. So I went 2014, took Vinny with me. And yeah, it was different. The gloves that Wayne had are totally fucking different to the one championship gloves.
Okay.
They're scandalous, them things. You might as well just fight bare knuckle. There's nothing
Which
in
ones?
them. The one championship
Oh, right,
ones.
okay.
There's fucking scandalous. The race. But the ones that Wayne used were a carbon copy of UFC glove,
Right,
so they had
okay.
like quite a big pad on the
Yeah.
knuckles. But you've just everything around a normal sort of traditional Thai boxing style has to change.
Yeah.
Can't use long guard because you get caught. There's just gaps everywhere, so you got to change a few things. And I'm like, if you watch that fight, my guards fucking don't move. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't move. Dan Williams, who I fought Mini-T, he was known as a banger. He'd knocked out Aaron Lee twice, who was one of the boys who I was like meant to fight quite a few times. Me and her had been matched up on a few shows, both here and in Australia, and it just never materialised. And it's a shame because it'd have been a fucking war. We had exactly the same style. It'd have been ridiculous. It'd have been very, very good. It'd have been very good. No matter who won, we'd have both been like, shit, that was a good fight. So yeah, I was meant to fight Aaron actually, but he retired before the show, so I fought Mini-T. Mini-T was the champion. He'd knocked out Aaron, so I fought Mini-T. I thought I won. I watched it tie scoring. I 100% won all day long, I think. But it's not scored the same in Australia. They score it more for the boxing side of things and stuff like that. So, but it was a great experience. Got to spend 10 days on the Gold Coast in the sun.
Nice.
We Wayne and we were Vinny, one of my best mates. Yeah. And we had a good laugh. Got paid.
What was it like? Did you think that the fighting Muay Thai and them small gloves would ever prosper into like now with one? Was it a big demand? Did people enjoy it? Well, what did you think?
It was fucking stupid, mate. There was 9 fights on the card, and I was the only fight that went the distance.
Right. Flipping out.
I was there 2 hours before I was in the ring.
Yeah.
Fucking me and Vinny were like, oh, we'll sit and watch fights. Knockout. Let's go get ready, mate.
It was just handbrakes or not?
No.
Or them gloves were a little bit more protective, you said, didn't they?
A little, no, but it were all just knockouts. Everyone got sparked. It's me and Vinny said the same thing. We went in the back, and he looked at me and went, everyone thinks because you got little gloves on. I went, yeah, everyone thinks they can box and everyone's getting knocked out. I'm not doing that, mate. I'm just fighting our fight. Yeah, good. Just fight your fight. Just do what you do. So I didn't make any silly mistakes. Didn't try and fucking go swinging my arms about like I normally would. Yeah. But lost on points. But then obviously from that, what you were saying about one championship. Yeah. It came about from, I took Liam to fight Rodlek. Went
Great
to,
fight.
can't remember where it was now.
Singapore?
No, it wasn't Singapore. Began with S. Somewhere in China.
Right, okay.
Anyway, Shanghai, that's the one. Might have been that. Anyway, I took Liam somewhere. Took him abroad. Took Liam to fight Rodlek. And I think I just had my first fight back on Liam's show and won by knockout with head kick. And one of the guys, Rick Ante, who's one of the guys that does the matchmaking and stuff and helps run the shows. And Timo came in and was like, oh, fucking hell, Andy, congratulations. I didn't know you were back fighting. And then they both said to me then, look, do you want in? And I was like, yes, of course I do. But between that conversation and actually getting signed was about another year and a half. Right. Because there was no division. Right. The lowest division was 61. Yeah. Get you. Hence why Samir was just so small against like Haggerty and things like that. So yeah, as soon as I was the first person to get signed to the new division when they opened the new super featherweight division, I was the first person to get signed. Then obviously Samir came in, Rui Botello, and a few other guys moved down from that weight to that. Yeah. Lasari now is in that. Josh Tonner, all the guys that are in that weight. Who's the guy
you gonna fight or you wanted to fight? French lad.
Darren Rowland.
Yeah, that fight. That would have been a good fight.
I'd have knocked him
out.
I don't think he'll fight again now. I don't think he'll fight on one again.
Looks dead tall, doesn't he?
He's very tall but skinny and he don't. Yeah. I mean, Samir barely touched him and knocked him out, and Samir's not known for like having big power in his hands.
That would have been a good fight though. After
your
last fight,
it'd have been a nice fight back. Yeah. After how it came about, and so like I'd not fought for 3, maybe 4 years. I moved back to because I had my own gym in Birmingham, so I'd not fought for like 4 or 5 years, maybe 5 years. Shit, I was down there about 4.5 years. Right. I was busy with my own gym. I had my own group of fighters. I left that behind. That's Nathan Bender now has that gym. Right, it's the same place. He just took over and he's got his own place there now. I moved back to Leeds, and after about 6 months of being back in Leeds, I was like, fucking hell, I can train every day. It's totally different. Yeah. I would train every day with Liam. I would go into the gym with him, training, running, S&C, and I was like, fucking hell, I'm back in it now.
Did you get in there?
Yeah, I just got the buzz back straight away,
Yeah.
and I was like, do you know what? Fuck it, I want one more.
Yeah.
I was meant to have like a farewell fight in Leeds on Liam's show.
Right.
Before I moved to Birmingham, and my opponent just didn't show up, so I'd fucking trained, cut weight, turned up, and he just never came. So I never got to have like a last fight, and I'd done about 170 tickets, and I never got to fight in front of like all my friends and family and that. So when I was back in Leeds, I'd only been back about 10 minutes, and he went, "So you fighting?" I'm like, "Sure, what?" And I was like, "Yeah, fucking course I am." So I fought on the HCH show again, knocked out some Italian world champion.
Head kick.
Yeah, head kick. And I felt all right. I felt decent. Like, I felt good. Even like the fight for one, I felt really good. But I'd not really sparred because we went to Thailand to train for that. We went to Thailand in December. And we did like 3...
Was that at the Sanchez gym? Was it Yokkao?
Yeah, we went to Yokkao. Yeah, we went to Yokkao.
Yeah.
Trained at Yokkao and Jitties. So we did like 3.5 weeks there. I was back in England for a week or just a week and a half, and then me and Dan flew to Jakarta.
Right.
And then it was doing bits with Dan. Obviously, it's weird because like I've never really trained with Dan. We sparred together, and I felt pads for him, but he's never padded with me.
Right.
And then having to take someone who's not really like being my coach and do pads with him. We're only a couple of days, but just want like the same. Made the weight easy. Like obviously.
What weight was that again?
57.
Right. So a little bit.
No, 56.7.
Right.
But you got to weigh in twice.
Right.
Fully hydrated. So and I did it easy.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I thought I'd fucked it up on the last day. McGowan's fault, dickhead.
Yeah.
I'd done the first one easy. No problem. On one, I just drank loads of water, sat in sauna for 10 minutes on weight, no problem. The next day, obviously, I've got to weigh in again, so you can't really go stupid with food.
Yeah.
A little bit of food, a little bit of water. Well, loads of water. You need to keep drinking so you can hydrate.
Yeah.
Just got to be hydrated. So I did that, went to bed, and like we was in the middle of Jakarta, and obviously it's a Muslim country. We were next to a church, man. 3 o'clock in the morning, they're all praying on a speaker, screaming. We're all awake. So I'm up at 3 o'clock. I was like, fuck me, I need to go to bed here. I'm fighting tomorrow. Oh, sorry, I've got to weigh in.
Yeah.
That stops. Got back to sleep. 5 o'clock in the morning. McGowan. The fuck, what you doing? And he stood there like, what's up? A cockroach just ran over me.
Oh, God.
I was losing my shit with him. I was like, mate, go to bed. Fuck me. Me and him, so we just didn't have no sleep.
Yeah.
Fell back to sleep. And I woke up at 12. And I was like, shit. The weigh-in's at 1 o'clock. So I've got an hour to put the weight on because I still need to drink to hydrate. And then I've got to run down and cut it. Luckily the sauna's on. I'm panicking. You're not allowed to go to the weigh-ins sweating because it's a live weigh-in. Right. So I rocked up to the weigh-in, sweating my head off. I had to wait till last to go on scales because I was just drenched. I made it, but I panicked like, fuck off, I've blown it here. I can't believe I've fucking done this. It's all your fault, Dad. He's like, you'll be all right, chill. Fuck off. You're not having to lose weight, you dickhead. It is what it is.
We touched on purses before. How did like the one purse compare to like the domestic purses? Was it significantly different?
Can't really significantly. What me? Yeah, it's about 17 times more. It's insane. Yeah, it's a lot more.
Yeah.
Depends on obviously. I know some people get. There's a baseline level that most fighters get when you first join. So there is a baseline, like a sort of minimum sort of thing, which is still good for a lot of the guys that are in there that haven't quite fought like really high level yet. It's still very, very good. But then the more active, the more well-known guys, it's ridiculous. Yeah, really good.
Is there any sort of bonuses for like wins or stoppages?
Nah, there's nothing like that yet. Right. Yeah, it's a shame there's not, because like if they did like UFC and there was that, but then mate, they'd be fucking broke, wouldn't they? Yeah. They wouldn't be skint. Because with them little gloves on, there's people getting knocked out every 2 minutes.
Yeah. Is that even when you mentioned then about when you went out with Liam to his fight with Rodlek? Yeah. And like that was like all of a sudden like one punch and you on a deck, like it just can happen.
And it wasn't even a big shot really. It was long guard. That's why I was saying can't do it. I think Liam had low kicked him and gone like that, and it kind of looped over the top and just got. It wasn't even hurt. It was just like a flash bomb, and it went, oh, fuck's sake. Yeah. It's one of them where if there'd have been another 2 rounds, Liam would have stopped him 100%.
Do you think there's a lot of fighters out there who want to get to one, obviously for the financial gain and the publicity, but stylistically, they might not be with, like you said, the long guard with them little gloves.
That's it. You know, there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'd love to fight in them little gloves." You haven't got hit with them yet.
Yeah,
it's all right. It's like everyone wanting to fight elbows. How many people in your gym go, "I can't wait to fight full Thai rules"? Like, sound, come here, bong. Still want to do it? It's different, innit? Yeah. It's all right to say, "I can't wait." It's always, "I can't wait to elbow someone." Yeah. And I'm like, what about when I elbow you? Yeah. Oh shit, yeah. Never think of that, do you? Yeah. But I think it's mostly I think it's the promotion side of things. Like the entrance and how many people are there, and like 30,000 people there, and flying all over the world. Obviously, the money. You hear a lot of people. You hear like talk of what money people are on. Yeah. When you win the belt, you get 10 grand pay rise straight away. Right. Yeah. So if you win the belt, your wage goes up 10 grand. If you lose it, it goes back to where it was. Right. But every time you win. So think how many times has Stamp defended the title, Petch Morricott defended his title, Rodlek defended the title. Why do you think that Rodlek's rolling around with fucking Rolex on and that, and bought his mum and dad a new house and cars and everything? Sorry, Rodtang. Yeah. They're all Rodtang and Stamp are loaded now. Yeah, definitely.
It's great to see them, isn't it, for them guys?
Yeah, it's class for them.
Where they come from,
but there'll be other guys that have done the same thing, but the gym takes 70%. Right. There's gyms out there that you fight, you get paid this much money, but the gym takes 70%, or the gym will take 50%, or this and the other. So they're still getting paid really well compared to what they would. But they're still not getting a lot of money. That 70%. Yeah, it's a junk in it. We moan to Smith if we're taking 20%. It's nothing, is it really?
So we're at Four Corners here. How did you get involved in like teaching at this gym?
So I came down. Liam had started coming down doing his boxing with John, and I think a couple of months after I came down for my comeback, so like 2018 when I first came back, I came down, did a bit of pads with him and Vinny. I've known John years anyway. I've cornered him a few times. When I used to work at Sapphire with Audley now and again. Used to be a gym called Sapphire where Darren Till originally came from. Simon Audley's like his original coach, and John randomly turned up at the gym to do a bit of K1. He'd been doing bare knuckle and all sorts of madness, the fucking idiot. And I remember Si going to me, Darren Till was fighting Mark Skier. Right. Rumble at the Reebok show.
Never knew that. They fought
Till beat him. Right. And then he rings, I'm sure, it was Ski, I'm sure it was. But anyway, Audley rings me and goes, "Oh mate, I've got another lad fighting there. He's fighting Chris Knowles." I went, "All right, sound. Who is he?" He goes, he's never done Thai before. He's never even thrown a kick but he's fucking hard. Yeah. And he's a good boxer. He's a pro boxer. Like he'll be sound. He'll take his head off. Can you give me a corner him? Yeah, of course I can. And anyway, we cornered. John went out. Boom, got cut straight away with an elbow. And then he came back at end of round 2. I said, "What are you fucking doing?" And he went, "What?" He was headbutting his elbow. Like every time before an elbow, going, nutting his elbows. He's mental. And we've just sort of been mates ever since. But I've not seen him for a long time. Like he had a few fights, then he vanished off the scene a bit. I didn't really see him. I didn't know he'd opened his own gym and he were teaching out of here. The old gym first. Then he had a little gym first, and then he's moved just over the road, and now this place is fucking huge, man. Really good. But yeah, I came down boxing basically, just trying to work my hands a bit, obviously using the smaller gloves, looking at one. I wanted to sharpen up a bit. And then I was just here one day, and one of the lads said, one of my fighters now, Joe Hughes, his dad said, "Do you mind doing a bit with Joe? Will we do a PT?" Yeah, of course, well. Kind of pays for my fuel driving over, so yeah, go on then. I did a PT, and John said, "Look, if you want to do it, just do a few." I started off just doing a few PTs, and then he went, "Fuck it, I want to get Thai classes going anyway, so do you want to just teach a Thai class?" And I've been here about a year and a half, nearly 2 years now. Yeah, it's good.
I said to you before, but I'll say it again here, like, you see a lot of people on Instagram coming in, doing sessions with you and stuff.
Loads,
man.
Yeah,
loads. What do you think your strengths are as like a coach and like a padman, cornerman?
Everyone raised over his padman skills, everyone, don't they? See it.
Cheers, thank you.
Top padman.
I've padded a lot of people. I think that's the main thing. Yeah. Obviously, I've been around a lot of good coaches all my life as well. Whether it's been Richard, obviously setting a good foundation from the start. But we had so many Thais come and train and look after us. Yeah. We've had really good Rajasak, Duao, Mr. Deng, who was trainer of the year in Thailand when we had him. We've had a lot of like really top level Thais come over, and Chanoi as well, who beat Deckers twice. Well, them guys have come and trained and lived at Bad Company for like 6 months.
Right.
So every year when especially like when we're coming up, that's another big part of it. Richard want like too shy to go, I'm the boss.
Yeah.
Do as I say. We're bringing Thais in for us to train with and help the gym and bring everyone up, and it just fucking made us all go bump.
Yeah.
So I think obviously you pick up bits and bats from that. I pick up a lot from training Liam.
Yeah.
Obviously, I watch Liam pad work people, and I hit pads with him, and I get stuff. But even when I'm padding Liam, we'll do something, and then I'll go, try this. And he'll go, oh, shit, yeah, that's good, that. And they'll go, oh, do you know what? On end of that, do that. And we'll just kind of build on... Yeah. We'll kind of like build on things, and we'll come up with stuff like that together. But I think another thing about being a good coach is you have to be able to coach different styles. Because I know a lot of coaches that will only teach one way. And it's like, well, this is how I teach, and that's it. But I can't teach you how I'm going to fight, because you're tall and I'm midget. And do you know what I mean? You've got to be able to have that same thing. A lot of my taller guys, I'll teach them totally different to how I'm going to teach like little Grey Spicer, who's my height and likes to have a fight. So you've got to be able to like change your training and mix it up so you're doing that. And I try not to change people in terms of like, if you've got... Look, if you can't lift kick, I'll change that so you can kick properly. Yeah. But I won't change your style. If you've got a style and it works for you, I'm not going to change your style. I'll just put my style into your sort of thing.
I think that says a lot, being like 5 times world champion. You could have that ego almost where you think you're going to do what I say. This is how I want it. You know, but you
with certain things.
Yeah.
Diet, cutting weight, stuff like that. I'm like, look, I've done it. Don't try to talk shit to me. Just do as I'm telling you to do, or not training hard enough. Things like that. Like I've had people. I want to fight. Why? You're in gym twice a week. Nah, you're not fighting. Fuck off. But yeah, like you can't be too big-headed. At the end of the day, like it's mad because Thai boxing's like not this big thing. It is in the community. Yeah. So in the community, like people might look and go, "Oh, fucking that's Andy Howson." And I'm like, "Fucking, I'm just me." Yeah. I'm not asked about it. Liam's the same. Like I'm just me. Yeah. Like we're just 2 dickheads from Leeds who've managed to get good at a sport and have a bit of success with it. Obviously, Liam now is flying. Yeah. He's got his website and all sorts. He's doing like unbelievably well. But for me, I were a bit exciting. I've turned into a decent coach. I love holding pads. I love training people. I love having fighters from other gyms come and train with me.
You can see the enthusiasm of you on them videos online and stuff.
So I'm always flying into corners like Josh Hill on Yokkao. Look how many of us were in his corner at Yokkao. And Matty Olleran. They were all of Bad Company were in his corner going, "What are you fucking doing?" Yeah. But it's good though, because like Matty, Josh and all them guys, they come and do PTs with me and Badger here. Yeah. They come to Bad Company. Joe Ryan comes down and spars, obviously. Bendon comes up now and again. Nico comes down. It's just fucking good to have like top level fighters coming down together. No egos, no dickhead. Just helping each other, training and just having a laugh. And that's where it always used to be like me, Thrasher, Panicos and that. We all used to spar every weekend together, like either at Das Phillips or at Bad Company or whatever. And we used to do it every Saturday. We'd all go spar somewhere else. Yeah. And you don't like, I like shit like that because as much as there's obviously, it's a sport where you can't have like, there's going to be people that don't like you. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people in sport I don't fucking like. But at the same time, 99% of them are fucking like really good mates. Yeah. So I love being able to, like Cy Forrest and that coming up, get up, beat fuck out of each other. Have a laugh. It's fucking class, mate. It's just class, innit? Yeah. Just have a laugh with your mate, beat each other up. And then just talk shit about each other after. Like, it's what it's about, innit? Yeah. And helping each other, like, go on to do things like...
So what I wanted to ask you is, how's your body? You know, doing all these PTs, these big fighters who hit hard. I've seen the pads with Liam.
It's absolutely fucked, mate. Fucked. Yeah. It's knackered from fighting anyway. Yeah. Because I've never fought careful. I'm riddled with injuries from fighting anyway. Holding pads is way harder than training and fighting. Yeah. Way harder. It's a lot more pressure on your body. And I think one thing with me is like, if I can move about a bit and I can train a little bit, I feel better. Yeah. But I'm so busy and I ain't got time and I'm so injured, I can't actually train myself. Yeah. So I'm kind of like just fucked all the time now. But I just got to get on with it. I think that's one thing though that Liam will tell you straight, and Grace, like, I fought on one, and obviously you saw what happened, like, out front. I know it was just one of them things, but it was a bad fucking knee.
Yeah.
I got up and I was absolutely fine, but I came back, that was on a Saturday, I flew back Sunday, I was in the gym Monday morning holding pads for Liam because he had a fight coming up.
Flipping out.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I'll be there, no matter what, as long as I can be there, I'll be there. But yeah, it fucking hurts.
Do you think it's possible for, like, you've got Nathan Bendon, for example, he's an active fighter in a minute, he's got his own gym. You know, Paul, he's done it himself, he's not as active as he'd like to be, he's got a gym again, a young family. How do you think, like, you know, Liam's an example, he doesn't really have his own gym, he just, you know, does his seminars and stuff. Do you think it's doable for fighters to stay at that high level all the time? And
I think it's very hard.
Unless you've got a really good support team.
Unless you've got a really good support team behind you that can run your gym and stuff like that. I think Nathan's quite lucky. Well, he's lucky and he's got the mindset where he travels all over to train as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, he comes to Leeds now and again. He'll do a couple of days of us. He's obviously going all over. He goes to Deirdre, doesn't he? He goes to Deirdre's gym and trains with him, and he goes all over the place to spar and all the rest of it. There's a couple of guys, like I said, his gym is my old gym, so I know he's got a couple of my guys in there.
Jack Kennedy as well, I think he does.
Kennedy does same. Kennedy goes down to Nathan. Kennedy goes all over, same thing. But he's got a couple of guys in the gym. Rob Peacock, who's a good coach actually. Right. He's one of my old fighters. He's a good coach. He spent time in Thailand, so he can look after bits in the gym. He can take a class. Another kid, Howson, can take a class. He used to teach for me. There's another kid, John, who's a really good boxer. He's had a few Thai fights. So he's got guys in there that can run stuff for him and help him out if he needs to. But again, he's got that mindset where it's like, well, I'm fighting, so I need to do this. So that needs to go there. You need to do that, and I'm off the train. With, who else did you say that does it?
So we've got, for example, Paul.
Well, with Paul, he's never had that.
Yeah.
Paul didn't go anywhere to train.
Yeah.
He couldn't do. He had his oon fighters and that was it. Yeah. So he's got no one to train him. He's probably sparring with you guys and that's about it.
Yeah.
But we were saying off camera then, if you look at when he trained with Pod, he had a spell where he had about a year or 2 years with Pod, and he was most active I've seen him since he left Sken.
Yeah.
He were out 3-4 times a year. He beat Coke Chawatana on Muay Thai in America when he fought with me. Put on a fucking ace performance then, and he looked totally different. Like me and Badger were saying, "Fucking hell, you look miles better now." I know he does all his mad shit, and he loves it. He loves all his mad spinning about shit, and he was still doing it, but less of it, and it was more sort of accurate as to when he should do it. He looked more grounded. He looked more Thai style, and he was fighting sick. Yeah, and he had some really good performances. But then obviously he opened his gym. You've still got to make a living. Yeah, fighting don't pay the way. Yeah. And then obviously he's opened his gym, and then you get busy, and life takes over. Obviously he's got his little ones and that. So
what was it like for you when you had? Was it Science of 8? It wasn't it?
SO8, yeah.
So was you still fighting at the same time as running that, or does that just fully just stop?
I'd stopped then.
Right.
I was originally down there running Black Widow with Yogi. Well, I ran one gym. He had someone else running another. He wasn't even anywhere to be seen, sort of thing. So I ran one gym. I had 2 fights while I was there. One of them was the WBC fight.
Right.
But I basically did 2 weeks just hitting a fucking bag on a morning and sprints on a bike and shit. And then my evening session would be I'd jump in my fighters class and my bird were pad working me. That's what padding me for like the first 2 weeks. Yeah. And then I had to take all my holidays, and I had 3 weeks solid in bad company. Training with Thrasher was there because Richard were in Thailand actually, so I had 3 weeks solid in bad company then, and it worked. Like the last 3 weeks in bad co sorted me out. I was sparring every day with all my boys and doing good pads every day, twice a day. But I fought Joseph Lasari. I couldn't go back to Leeds, so I trained on the bag and pads with my bird and sparring my own lads that were all novices because the gym were brand new. Like I wasn't even trying. And then my neck's been fucked for years, and I did whole training camp like that, and I was just shit. But then after that, I opened Science of 8 and I'd retired then.
Right.
Like,
So you had no aspiration really?
Nah, I didn't want to do that. I was still training every day, like with my guys though.
Yeah.
I would that sparring and clinching and doing bits and bats and holding pads every day. But I had, fucking hell mate, I think that first year of SOA, I had 167 fights for the gym.
Wow, that's a lot.
I were out
weekends away.
I were out every weekend.
Yeah.
My bird was going mad. I was literally out every weekend. I'll be a weigh-in Friday, then a show Sunday, show Saturday, show Sunday, like every weekend.
Even that, like you said, your bird's going mad. You're away. It's a lot of stress
hard.
on your family.
It's hard.
A lot
so I remember I went, like, me and my girlfriend we went skiing.
Right.
And we got back on like the Friday, and I had a fighter out Saturday. I got back on Saturday morning. I had a fighter out Saturday night. I literally got back from skiing. I fucking broke my collarbone skiing, falling.
I was gonna say,
I smashed myself, mate. I broke my collarbone. A 5-year-old girl broke my collarbone. She wiped me out. Broke my collarbone, but I didn't know. It was just fucked. Yeah. I got back, got off the plane, drove straight to Henry Show, drove straight down to Birmingham, padded my fighter, warmed him up. My fighter fought, went home, was like, my shoulder's fucking killing me, love. I need to go to hospital. Went to hospital, straight in a sling. But like, John's the same now because we've got such a mix here as well.
Yeah.
He's got MMA boxers, like say K1. He trains Jamie Bates, who fight for Glory and that. Yeah. Obviously, we've got the Thai lads, lads and lasses. So now there's 4 different things here. So like. He was in Vegas for 3 weeks with one of us lads on Contender,
right?
On Challenger Series. He got back from that and literally had to change his flight from landing in Liverpool to landing in London because he had to go straight down there for a boxer fighting. It's, do you know what I mean? Like 3 weeks away, then going straight to another show, and had to quarantine for 2 days after because of COVID. It's just it's fucking shit, innit?
Yeah.
So and now
sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say now, obviously, because I've kind of got 2 lots of fighters now. Yeah. So I've got guys that I've got Bad Company guys that I'll help out as and when I can. I train Liam alongside Richard like every day. Yeah. Tuesday and Thursday aside. I pad Liam Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So obviously I do everything with him. I've got Grace Spicer, who comes up, obviously she lives in London, but Grace is my fighter. She trains with us at Bad Company. When she's got a fight, she comes up and does like a week, comes up like say Tuesday to Friday or Saturday morning, goes home, comes back next week. Do you know what I mean? That's good. So I've got Grace, Liam that help sort fights for I've got my guys here. I've got like 2 lots of fighters and I'm all over the place. Then promoting my shows and all the rest of it.
I was going to ask you about that.
Mad.
Before I know you have to do
teaching in 2 minutes.
So quickly, like just talk a bit about your event that's coming up this year.
Yes, March 19th. So I've got
my birthday that.
Yeah, I've got a big show on March 19th at the Olympia in Liverpool, where was me and Liam won the WBCs. I've got Jacob Smith, main event, fight for WMO,
Spanish lad.
International title against Isaac Araya. Isaac's actually fighting for the WBC world title in a couple of weeks. Right. In February. Yeah, he's fighting for WBC world title, so it could be one of those where if he wins and Jacob wins this, it sets up a rematch for the WBC possibly. Yeah. It's a stacked card. Joe Ryan against Chris Shaw. Be a big test for Joe because Chris is a big guy as well.
Seasoned guy, innit?
And it's A class as well. All of these are A class. We've got Jamie Williamson from Liverpool, from Daz O'Connor's against Mondo Woodcock. Matty Holleran's now fighting Wade Sword, his original opponent. Unfortunately, he's had to pull out. He's fucking punctured his lung, poor lad. So we don't know if he's going to be all right. So we're leaving him to it. So I've rematched him with Wade Sword. There's God almighty, I can't remember. There's loads. There's all sorts, isn't there?
I've seen the card's stacked.
I've seen the card and I can't remember half the card.
I hope you've seen the card. You made it.
I know. Right, there we go. Charlie Guest against Glyn Blackburn. Shane Farquharson against Mick Eslick. That'll be sick. I think that'll be fight at night. That'll be insane. Josh Hill against Arta Saladiak.
Oh yeah. Good fight.
I've got Ellis Barbosa coming and back from Dubai. He's fighting Tyree Stevens.
Right, yeah.
This will be a sick fight as well. Max McVicker, who's originally from I used to train with Neve years ago at Sale West or whatever it was, or Pele's. He lives in Australia now.
Okay.
And he's sick. He's one of my favourite fighters, Max. I love watching him fight. He's sick. Very, very good, slick southpaw. I've got him coming over to fight Niall McGreevy, who just beat Peacock on Lion Fight. Yeah. Well, you fought on that, didn't you? Yeah. He just beat Peacock for Lion Fight European title, so that'll be a good fight.
Loads of A-class fights there.
Big. Lots of A-class.
Looking forward to that. Yeah.
It'll be good, but that's like a minor.
So tickets available now for people to buy?
Yeah, tickets. Sorry, just 1 second. I've got to text my PT.
Okay.
Sorry, man. Tickets will be available hopefully this week. They're just getting printed and everything, so they'll be available this week. Okay. With the fighters that have taken them, I've only got about 200 tickets left.
Right.
So it's going to be a sellout, 100%. Good, because I'm fucking skint. But then I've got a stupid show in August as well. I'm not sure on venue yet. I'm just waiting to find out on the venue. Yeah. Because I need somewhere big because I've gone stupid. I've got... hopefully Liam will be main event. I'm just waiting to see. Right. But I've got Jay Tonkin from Australia coming to fight Liam Nolan for the WMO world title. Yeah. I've got Chad Collins coming from Australia to fight Panikos.
Wow, big fight.
I've got Josh Tonner coming from Australia. I'm telling you everything now. Josh Tonner coming over to fight Dan McGowan.
Right.
I've got Kim Townsend, who's a very good Australian fighter. Right. She's coming to rematch Grace Spicer for the WMO world title. Chris Shaw and Savas agreed. Hopefully, again with Savas and Tonner, I just need to make sure one will let him off, and Nolan should be fine. But both parties agreed on that. So Savas and Savas, Chris Shaw, that'll be good. Got another Australian boy, James Honey. From Chad Collins' gym coming to fight Josh Hill. I've got more than that, you know. It is Australia versus England.
John Wayne Parr's daughters.
Oh, Jazzy, Rocky. Yeah, Rocky's at a different gym now.
Oh,
he's at Nuggets. He's at Nuggets.
Okay.
He's got the Nuggets. I've got no one for him to fight, to be fair.
Right.
If I'm going to bring an Aussie to fight somewhere, I want Dan to fight Tonner.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just on paper a bigger name. And I'm good. And to be honest, I'm good mates with Kieran, his coach, so I want to just bring Kieran for a piss up more than else.
We'll let you go to your PT. Thank you very much.
I will. No worries. Thank you guys. Cheers for that. No worries.
Thank you for watching. See you again soon.